The action from the first round of the Brass Monkey series, and it was full gas from the start. You can see the conditions were absolutely grim. We're on mountain bikes doing 25 mile an hour down this tarmac straight. It was full gas into the first corner. There's some absolute hitters in this race as well. Couple of these lads in front of juniors. You can see, look already the gap Ben got. He went absolutely turbo off the start. But if you're that fit, you can go for it. And then we've got the two Lukes to my right there as well. They're elite mountain bikers. So the standard in this field was legit. And when we took this corner, it all started pinging, and to be honest, I said I was going to pace it. Unfortunately, we got no power, and I apologise about the screen. I try and keep it as clean as I can, but when we're going full gas up a 15% climb, it ain't easy because your boy's blowing out of his backside. But I said before this race I was going to pace it, and in all honesty, when that whistle went, your boy just had to go with it. And the reason why was because at the top of this climb, it goes into single track. So there was I reckon there was probably like 100 people all going off at once during this race because you got the vet category as well. So I've moved up a bit here, and I've said this in videos before, sometimes you do have to burn a bit of a match at the start, because if you get stuck in a bottleneck when it goes into the single track, it's pretty much good race. So it's not completely over, but you can lose so much time in the first 5 minutes of the race. Obviously my heart rate's looking quite low at the moment. It is off my watch. It does eventually catch up. But the boys were just absolutely pinging, and I am hanging on for dear life. And the lad to my right here in the giant bib shorts, for some reason decides to go full cyclocross here and dismount. I honestly have no idea why, but he decides to dismount just here, get off and run, which sort of like slowed me down because I almost went into his bike, and then I almost went into Luke the other side. He managed to sneak past, I didn't. And that was where, was where the gaps started to open, because there we go, we're clean again. So the boys at the front, you can see Ben's around the corner. So I'm sitting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th position. There's a junior in front of me as well. And Ben just starts to open it up through this single track section. And it's one big thing that I'll tell you, the top boys in mountain bike XC can shift through single track. So if you're thinking, where can I make up time when we're starting to come into that mountain bike season soon, like in next summer, where can I make up time? It's through the single track. Look, they're gapping us through here. And honestly, I felt like, in a way, I wish I was in that group trying to go with it through the single track. But at the same time, being behind this lad here probably saved me a little bit, because I would have burnt all of my matches and absolutely blew my biscuit trying to go with them through the single track. Any time there was pedalling today, that's when some of the boys were pulling away from me. But this course was absolutely savage because the weather was minging and it got harder and harder as the laps went on. But you can see the pace was so high, and Georgie boy is starting to get stretched, and it was all Ben's fault. Why is he pinging it so hard? He's meant to help me out and take it easy on the first lap so I can be somewhere near the front and get some good footage. But I managed to stay just about in contact with the lad in front from, I think he was BW Cycles or something like that. But you can see the course is actually in quite good condition at the moment. Like 2 laps later, it was flipping mud bath. It was mental. But yeah, Ben basically put in straight from the gun, monumental attack, strung it out, and no one went with it. And the 2 Lukes that come second and third were as close as they got, was like literally up that first climb, and it was quite a good, I'll take my hat off to him, it was a top performance. But you can see through these little twisty bits, I do eventually start to close the gap down onto the lad in front of me. I was just struggling with the legs on some of the draggy sections, the pedally sections, but we're working on that. We are back training now, and your boy's going to be pinging for the mountain bike season. But in a minute, I managed to move up a slot and slot into 5th place because the lad in front makes a mistake. And it is so easy on this course to make a mistake because there's loads of routes. You'll see in this next little rooty section here to get up, and then coming around this next corner. And it was because it was wet, it was slippy, you're absolutely on the limit, eyes jumping out of your head, and he makes a mistake here on this route, and I just about managed to squeeze past and up into 5th place. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't last long, because the boys behind me were just ready and raring to get past me and try and get back into that front group. Sorry about the mud on the screen, but you can see they're only one corner away. I think Ben had a gap at this point. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he had a little bit of a gap, and then there was this group of 3 just in front. And you know, when they're literally just there around the corner, that's what made me think maybe if I got into that single track with them, the first bit I could have held the wheel. But one lesson I've learned, when you race with the elites, their pace does not drop the whole race. They stay on the gas, stay on the pedals, they're super, super strong, and they just know what pace they can hold for a 1 hour 30 to 2 hour XCO race. And that is where I lack a little bit, and I go absolutely full beans, full gas off the start and get my doors blown off in the last couple of laps. But the lad here comes round me, and I was thinking, jump on it, go with it. But then I just made one little mistake. The gap opens and I couldn't shut it down. Up here, look how rooty it is. Rooty, slippy. Hit this route, got it horribly wrong, almost come to a standstill, and you just can't afford to lose speed. It is all about holding, maintaining speed, because once you lose that speed that you had, especially on that like downhill into the uphill, you've suddenly got that gap you've then got to close, and you've already burnt a match off the start to get up there near the front of the race, and you're thinking to yourself, I ain't got many more matches to burn. And this was the next one where I lose another spot, unfortunately. I'm dodging the puddles. I think it's another BW Cycles rider comes round me and puts in a big attack to jump over to the lad in front. And at this point is when I probably made the best decision I've ever made in a bike race, not to try and go with him. I don't even think I could have gone with him, because I was in a bit of a hole at this point. But I think sometimes I need to like play it a bit smarter and pace it, rather than trying to rip it back over to the BW Cycles rider. I then just decided to settle into a rhythm, trying to just keep a good pace, and unfortunately I didn't manage to shut that gap down to those like 5 or 6 riders in front. I got close just here. That is the BW Cycles rider, and then bang, he attacks again, and Georgie boy, I was literally just like so close to bridging over to him. And then he put in that little surge and it all went horribly wrong. Logan, who did manage to get into that first group, had a mechanical, so he was now behind me, and then he come back past me after I think his gears stopped working or something like that. But I honestly, I tried to go with him here, but he must have about 20 kilos on me. He's probably sub 60 kilos. So up this hill, it's only like 6-7%. It looks flat on the screen. Honestly, it's not. We get up to probably like over 10% in a minute. But yeah, he just pulled away from me, and I was trying everything I had to go with it. But then he had a puncture. So I did manage to get him back, but only because of mechanical. So I was in 5th place now, and then it just turned into an absolute survival mode. There's no two ways about it. Pure survival, running up these hills, just trying to get to the finish because the mud was just horrendous. But it is absolutely wicked, these races, if you can get stuck into some of them, because the elite boys turn up. I think both of the Lukes are going to do the next few rounds. I'm going to try and convince Ben to do them as well, because it's absolutely wicked getting to be in the mix at the start and see the speed of those boys, and it just pushes you on. So if you want to try and experience what it's like racing with elite riders that have been in like the top 10 at nationals, this is your chance. Get involved, get down there, and it is absolutely wicked fun. Hopefully it's not this grim again, but as you can see, it was just pure survival from here on in. I've managed to come away with a 5th place senior, and I think I was like 6th overall, because there might have been a junior ahead of me. But absolutely wicked racing. I hope you enjoyed this tiny little recap. It was a bit boring after this because I was in absolute no man's land, just trying to stop the people behind me catching me. But absolutely wicked race. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.